Hi, this is Joe Rowan. This is video number 2 in my little series about the project I'm doing with my Individual Advancement Program grant from the Indiana Arts Commission. And I've taken off the head of the drum, which is going to be the basis of this project, and not only had to take out a bunch of tacks, but had to take out a couple hundred staples, and pretty carefully because they're kind of pulling the wood out. So I've taken off the drum head and sanded down the drum frame, and the next thing to do is to make kind of a harness where a bunch of tuners can be placed and hold some additional sympathetic strings. So this is a tuning machine, and I'm going to try and fit a couple, I don't know, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen of them along this harness. What I'd really like is for the harness to be bent around the frame of the instrument so that it could curve nicely along here. And the way I'm going to do that is by soaking the wood and then steaming it in a steam box. And hopefully when the wood is malleable enough, I'll be able to clamp it right along the frame here. The steam box is basically just a tube into which steam can be pumped. This is going to be the tube, and into this the wood will be placed and sealed off in steam for a couple hours until the wood is malleable. And in order to do that, I've got myself a propane stove here and a gas can into which I've cut a hole with a little hole saw. Makes a pretty quick work of putting a hole in there. And we've got this plastic braided vinyl tubing that's going to go into here. And also what I've got is a series of PVC adapters. So this adapts from 3 down to 2 inch, and this from 2 inch to 1.25 inches. From there, this, and this will boil, and steam will come through the tube into the steam box right here, fill the steam, and the wood will become soft and malleable. So now I'm going to let pull one of these in the tube and let it soak for a couple days, and then after that we'll steam some wood. The day has come to steam this piece of wood that I'm going to use for my instrument that I've had soaking for, I don't know, a little more than a week. And now we can see that there's good steam coming out of the steam box, so this guy's going to go right in here. Cap goes on, and hopefully after a couple of hours this thing will be malleable enough that we'll be able to clamp it onto the instrument, and that will be that. Alright, here's the wood. It's been steaming for a couple of hours, and we're going to find out if it will bend or not. Oh, where's that drill? Hopefully that keeps it centered well enough that the thing can be clamped and not move around too much. Let's see if that's true. Well, the wood did not bend the way I wanted to, but this is fine because the steam box worked perfectly on pretty much the first try, and the wood that I was bending, this is actually a second piece that I had kind of waiting in the wings, is really thick along this dimension, and I had a feeling was not going to bend very nicely anyway, so this was just my most ambitious attempt in hopes that if it worked, then that would be really cool, but with basically nothing lost since it didn't. So actually I'm going to skip away from this sort of sympathetic string tuner harness for the moment. And I'm going to actually do something else for the instrument, which is put the face on. I've got a piece of wood all ready to go that I'm going to cut a circle out of and attach the face to the front, because I'd actually like to put on the neck first before I do the sympathetic string harness. So this was a good foray into the wood bending area, and I'm actually going to do a couple other things first, and then we'll come back to this part. So don't give up on the steam box just yet. It still has a role to play. All right, so long for now.